Hey, GutFoxx here. This is part 2 of my electric boogaloo. No, that doesn't work. My analysis of Madden 16. As you saw in that first clip, my opponent's got a wicked good team. Richard Sherman, Calvin Johnson. He also has AJ Green and Tony Romo, and he had a good draft as opposed to mine. But you'll just watch the game. You'll see how it goes. Anyways, the sponsor today are Baker's sons for following their father's footsteps and becoming bakers themselves. You could say they were bred for the job. So, off the bat, cover 3 is dead. The Madden 15 bread and butter is dead. So that was a nice one-on-one Calvin Johnson had over my corner there. So I tried not to leave him one-on-one again the rest of the game. I did occasionally, but because you can't double cover someone completely without them burning you in other ways. So anyways, that was a nice comeback. Here I am trying to use ring Julius Peppers before I switched over. He's just too slow to use her this year with that base card. So I'll probably end up using Taylor Mays in regular mud. Sorry, but let's get to the thing. So, what I was saying about cover 3 being dead. Seems, running with the tight end between the linebackers and safeties. They seem solid, actually. The safety doesn't jump it. Like Devin McCourty, when I had him, he's not really jumping that route. Almost broke a kick return there as quick as they did in 15. So that was like one of the vulnerable spots of a cover 3 is that seam route. And there's a little bit of hesitation between when the ball is thrown in that seam and when the safety breaks in it. So that hesitation, with all zones this year, like I hesitate to check my bank account, really does nerf zone. It seems man has improved a little this year and zone has gotten worse. I might need to redo my silver studs lineup because I based it off a cover 3. So that's all. I'll play a lot more games and see if man is more dependable than zone, but I guess that's to be decided. Fly patterns now have a good chance of getting picked if it's like covered by 2 men, because one guy is going to hit your guy. He's going to pop the ball up in the air, and the ball does pop a lot and bounce in the air, and that allows the safety to swing by and grab it like a Butterfingers bar. So that's between 2 men, and see what happened? You got to play the man. So that was a good way of playing against that aggressive catch up in the air. So yeah, that's really kind of how you want to defend that deep ball. Press the A button and play the man. Punching the ball out might be the key this year. It's really too bad Ray Rice doesn't play cornerback, or I'd never get caught over. Run Hayward, run Hayward! Oh, Hayward. Couldn't find his alfalfa patch. Anyways, so I did notice wide receivers still have sticky hands. So instead of dropping the ball or getting it broken up when there are 2 sets of hands near the ball and say a slant or something, it just warps to the better catching stats and through the other guy's hands if it's like a 50-50 ball. Same thing happened in 15. So that's not gone, and really I don't know how you stop that from happening in a computer sim. Nice pick there by Matthews. But yeah, I really don't know how they stop that warping of the hands. How do you stop molasses running down a hill? So I did see some wide receivers steal balls from defensive backs, and that's pretty cool. There are some cool animations and interactions there between the wide receiver and defensive backs. EA bragged about it, and they were right to brag about that. The game does feel very responsive and real. The running, passing, I do like the initial feel of it over Madden 15. I think the game plays better, but it is still just my initial feel. And I'll see how I like it going forward. Another 2-man pass breakup. I'm excited to see those new OP plays that will come out. Since last year's blitzes and offensive plays that were OP have been fixed or changed. The screens still work as I'm getting busted up. And being up 17-3 with 40 seconds, that screen killed me. So, but this year definitely does seem like one for the offense. User on defense seems different this year. You'll still be able to play good D, but it'll take a ton of work. Nanos are really looking like our only savior. But instead of the scores in the teens, like we had in Madden 15, we might get more scores near the 20s or so on a regular game, as he hits a corner route that I talked about in yesterday's video. I'm struggling here. Draft Champions is looking fun. It's going to be balanced. I like that a lot. I do expect a lot of my time to be spent in MUT, though, because I do enjoy building up a squad. I think a lot of players will stay in Draft Champions because it is more balanced between the two game modes and two teams. My team, as he drops the ball and misses a touchdown, and their team will be fairly balanced instead of one being dramatically better than the other. And to make sure it's balanced, just make sure you're not wearing Cleveland's jerseys when you're drafting, because those drafts never turn out well. And Draft Champions is exactly what Madden needed to get its competitive scene back up. I just wish there was a way for native tournaments on the game disc. I hate how there's no play versus a friend in Draft Champions. I mean, it's really telling when during the stream that they had this going on, that for a 16-hour stream, they had to snipe each other by queuing up at the same time to play against one another. There is clearly a demand to play against a friend in Draft Champions. EA should have had it in the game from the start. That's their only mess up with Draft Champions. Otherwise, I love it. I'm a big fan of how you can have two separate drafts going at the same time, one for the computer and one for regular head-to-head against dudes. And on those punts, I missed going out of bounds by a yard and let up 20 yards. So make sure and kick the ball out of bounds on those punts. There's a warp tackle, still in the game. And in order to change your uniform so you don't draft as the Browns in Draft Champions, you got to go change the settings in the main screen. But the settings in-game are pretty terrible. Just make sure you get all your stuff right between games, as we get a nice sack there. The Draft Champions rewards. I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you go 4-0, you get 5 Draft Champion badges. Versus a CPU, if you go 3-0, that's 1 Draft Champion badge. Sorry. It's definitely worth your time to go against online opponents. Because, like, say, with 80 wins, you will get your Tim Tebow or whoever you want. You get a nice user pick in the end zone. This game's over, and I got a lot of stuff left to go. Alright, I'll just run through it quick. So it's about 80 wins versus users and 300 wins versus the CPU to get that 100 draft badges. Because you got to go 3-0 versus the CPU to get 1 Draft Champion badge. So it depends on your win percentage against real people for those badges. D linemen shed blocks and make plays in this game, so they might be valuable this year, unlike a high school diploma, which is never valuable. I'm not an expert on the catching system, but it looks like the computer will catch it for you, as suggested, if you do nothing. Seems to be a little easy, and I need to get used to having not to press B to switch to receiver before using the catching controls. Just press the button they tell you to press. So something of an adjustment, like a new stolen bike. Not that I know anything about that. Also, the defensive audibles are much easier this year when you press left bumper for the D-line, or right bumper for the linebackers, or YY in the secondary, to get each individual's player's hot route. You no longer need to be on that guy to hot route the defense. A much needed improvement that will help defensive play calling. I haven't tried connected franchise mode yet, but I haven't heard good things about it, and it's been that way for years. But I'll check to see if there's any updates over the last year when I get unlimited time when the full game releases on Tuesday. When you intercept a ball, the interception doesn't take as long for the camera to get around and for the play to get back to full speed like it did in Madden 15. So be ready to run soon, like when a bike owner finds out where you live. Play actions also develop longer, so it gives you longer to bite down before you realize it's a pass. It's something minor, but I thought I'd Galaxy Note it on my Apple device. Ugh. That's a stretch of a joke as this video moves the pictures. But overall, I like the game. My brief run through. I'm not expecting base defenses to work great this year, where you kind of just sit back, bend but don't break. I think you're going to have to send some heaters, unless your goal is to stop them near the goal line, because that's a little easier when everybody's packed in and to stop them into zones. But anyways, let me know what you guys think, of what your impressions are of 16 if you've played. Thanks for watching. Call to action. I'll see you tomorrow.